headed by the vice president, and now the government is putting the responsibility of it on the vice president, because he's one of the groups or agency that he headed is what came up with the national livestock plan. Now, very, very quickly, I will try and be as detailed as I can, but very briefly. Now, the funding of this national livestock plan, 80% of that funding is going to come from federal government. The money that federal government is spending as federal government is coming from the Niger Delta. So 80% of that money is going to come from federal government. 20% of it is going to come from the states that have accepted the National Livestock Transformation Plan. Now, for now, the states that have accepted it are mainly in the north, but I think Benue too, from the Middle Belt, have also joined them. Now, about 2 days ago, I personally watched the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, talking on this issue, and I was horrified when I listened to him. He was very emphatic that Fulani people, and we are accepting that no matter how small they are in number, because they are not in any way in the majority of 4 or 5 of this country, of the nationalities that make up Nigeria. But that is for another time. But it's just to make that very, very clear. We have Fulani people who came into Nigeria a very long time ago and are now Nigerians. Now, those Fulanis are Nigerians, just like Ijos and Ikweres and TV and Igbo people and Yoruba people are Nigerians. Some are more in number, some are less in number, but we are all Nigerians. Now, definitely Fulani people are nomadic. Even Bala Mohammed said it, that they are nomadic people. They move from country to country. You cannot be, no matter how nomadic you are. I travel to America, I travel to other places. It does not make me a national of those places I travel to. I don't become a citizen just because I go to Spain. I don't become a citizen of Italy just because I went to Italy. So to say that because they are nomadic and that they move from country to country, that therefore when they enter Nigeria, and because they have other Fulani people here, that automatically makes them blood relatives of the Fulanis that are Nigerians. It's not true now. It cannot be so. To say, therefore, that what is beneficial in Nigeria, that what the Fulani, the bona fide Fulani man of Nigeria is entitled to, is what the Niger and the Mali and the other Fulani people from other countries of Africa are also entitled to that. No, they are not entitled to that. And the governors and the people of Nigeria and the other ethnic group must recognize this. This is not to say that we don't recognize that there are Fulani people in Nigeria. Of course, there are Fulani people in Nigeria. There is nothing anybody is going to do about that. But to rear livestock, or to grow yam or cocoa yam, or to fish in Nigeria is not an inheritable thing. You don't inherit it and it becomes your birthright. If you're a fisherman in Niger Delta, you cannot say that an Oguta man cannot be a fisherman. A Brininkimbi man cannot be a fisherman because you're a fisherman in River State. No, anybody can be a fisherman if you can fish in the water, and if you have water, you can fish in that water, then you're a fisherman. Therefore, because I want to eat beef, there is no birthright that says in Nigeria, there is no law that says in Nigeria that only Fulani people can rear cattle. There is no law that says only northerners can deal in forex. There is no law that says only Niger Delta people can fish. No. There is no law that says only Ogoni people or Benue people can farm. Anything that can grow on your land, you can farm it. So Nigerians must be very, very careful what we allow to stand in this country, because it will become the law and it will be accepted. Now, to say that we're going to benefit from rearing cattle and it will create jobs. Who are the people that the jobs are going to be created for? When they're going to come and take somebody's land and then they're going to rear cattle, they're going to do butter, they're going to get milk from those things. Who are the people who own this thing? Cattle rearing is a private business. As fishing is a private business, as farming is a private business, as tailoring is a private business. These are private business. And once you select one business under any disguise of feeding the nation, it is still a business. It's not a national business. It is a personal business. And therefore, we have to be very, very careful. For instance, if Emoha has land, if somebody in Emoha wants to go into cattle rearing, is there a law that says he cannot use his land to do cattle rearing? Why are the governors of the states of Niger Delta, why are they not going into agriculture? We know that our land is devastated, but the area that is not devastated, we should go into agriculture. We should go into cattle rearing. If there is a situation where there will be fight between somebody coming to your land and coming to your farm because they are looking for grazing land for their cattle, then you must make sure that you are grazing cattle in your land. You must create agriculture. This laziness of our youth and our politicians of just joining the rest of Nigeria, why people like me are shouting ourselves hawks and shouting and saying, why should our oil be used in the way that it is being used? Why are the governors and the lawmakers also not saying these things that we, the ordinary people, are saying? We, the ordinary people, are saying that we should have a right to go into the business of oil and gas. Why shouldn't we? Why should the government own the oil and gas that is in our land? That is why we've been shouting for restructuring. And the resistance of the restructuring is showing very clearly that the people resisting restructuring know very well that what we say when we say Nigeria should be restructured is the right thing. That is why they are resisting it. When we allow Ruga or National Livestock Transformation to take hold in the country, when it is not even law, it is not in the constitution, it has not been passed, the bill has not been passed, where the government is saying that it will bring 80% and give to private business people. Our politicians are lazy and they are not doing their job if they're not arguing this point on behalf of the people they say that voted for them. That is one. Another thing that we have to look at is that if we allow this to take place within this is a plan, a 10-year plan. they said this thing is for 10 years. Within 10 years, you will see that in Rivers State, if it is allowed, say in Rivers State, but whatever state it is going to be allowed in, because it will not be allowed in states where it will affect us. But in the north, if you allow foreigners to come in and to be therefore documented as Nigerians when clearly they are not Nigerians, they will be more than the original indigenous people of that state. And if that happens, we are in trouble in Nigeria. We're also in trouble in the south, in the Yoruba nationalities, in the Igbo nationalities, and in all the nationalities of the Niger Delta area. And you have to ask yourself, where is your future? Where is your future? Where is your future in that? So, hello. Okay. The number is 081-885-88155, and the other number is 0809-289-5620. Okay. All right. So this is a very sensitive and very critical and serious issue for us. And hello. Good morning. Hello, yes sir, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Comrade Peace. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay sir, go ahead. Raise your voice a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. I want to commend you for the effort you are making in fronting this, some of these challenges confronting Niger Delta issues. But I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
In as much as the federal government has refused, I want to use that word, has refused to restructure.
Yeah.
And to take a realistic approach to issues confronting religion. What do you think is the best option?
Okay.
What do you think is the best option?
Okay.
Reading from their handwriting on the wall.
Yeah.
And the characters that speak in the federal government.
Yeah.
And the northern elite that they not at some point consider restructuring as a way of paper to the oil-rich Niger Delta. What do you think is the best option? Thank you, man.
All right. The best option under these circumstances, which is a constitutional option and a right, is that the people of the Niger Delta region who are aggrieved with the constitution of the 1999 constitution, we must get together and compel our compel our government to do the right thing. We'll come back and answer that question. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm from the Republic of Ireland. My name is Emmanuel George, please.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Hello.
Hello, yes, sir, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. My name is Emmanuel George. I'm coming from the Republic of Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. My contribution to this is senior activist. I know what you're saying is correct, and the international communities are watching, and they know that what you are saying is the right thing.
Go on.
Yeah, like what I'm saying is on the speech you are giving in respect of rights, I will call it rights of human beings and respect to humanity. I think that is very much correct. And if I have to tell Nigerians, especially people from southern regions, If they don't liberate themselves, they will be colonized. I have to be frank. Because the system is in shambles. We have to face realities. What Buhari is doing, I have to speak it out. It's not right. We have to speak the truth. We have moral obligation to respect the citizens of the country in aside to human rights organizations, UN nature chapters, and all the rest of them. But it's quite unfortunate that in Nigeria today, even the judiciary has been bastardized. No person is talking about it. There is no law in the country. One person will sit down and dictate what happens, and people are looking. For example, when people talk, they will be arrested and kept in detention, and people are looking, they cannot rise up. Is that a government, or is it not a tyrant? Let's call it spade a spade. The country is in shambles, and I'm trying to urge Nigerians, if you don't save yourself, if you don't liberate yourself, we are not even talking, I'm not trying to shape it to Ruga or something like that, I'm just trying to say generally.
Thank you.
But on the topic is Ruga or something like, taking land, can you do that in other parts of the country? They have the chance to do it because it's the southern hemisphere. That is very, very wrong. There is a rules and regulation for you to get a land. Why can't they follow it? Why are they trying to sidetrack the truth? And people are there listening, and they are saying they are just trying to connive. Do they know that they have bastardized the southern hemisphere, especially the oil zone? They now want to collect everything to develop a particular region in Nigeria without trying to share it to the citizens of the country. Is that correct?
Okay.
And people are there listening. The governors, the senators are not listening. Oh.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Nigeria is finished.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, I mean, to continue answering that question, then we must get up and compel our governors and our lawmakers to air our views and our voices on the National Assembly and in the hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? I'm sorry we took so much time to listen to the guy from Ireland. Thank you.
This is from Port Harcourt.
Go ahead, sir.
My contribution to your program is it's just like what my brother from Ireland said. I concur with what he said. Because these people, they are coming for Islamization. And this is the time for us to stand up and face the reality. And on the other hand, what we are asking is freedom. There's nothing like restructuring, because if you are talking of restructuring, we are saying that we should be recolonized again, or for us to be slaves under Hausa and the Fulani. So the most important thing is for us to act for our freedom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So we have reached the point in my opinion, and I have been a civil rights activist for 21 years now. In my opinion, if we the people don't see the danger and don't compel our governors and our lawmakers and our representatives, even at the state level, the state assembly, if they will not rise up with us, then we must compel them to do what is right. If we don't do it, our great-grandchildren will blame us, and history will be kind to me, I hope, because I have tried my best and I will continue to try my best within the law of what is available, and to call for restructuring is the right thing to do, because even if we conclude that there are people who will not agree or accept or will scuttle restructuring, we will continue to call for restructuring while putting on the table for our people to recognize that in as much as it is legal for us to call for restructuring and that we are doing so, there are obstacles that will not allow that call. Hello, good morning. Where are you calling from and what's your name?
Good morning to you, the Amazon.
Okie dokie, Anna. Okay. Go ahead.
So now that because you don't enter C and C. That is condition critical.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, for me this morning, let me start from the issue of the killings of young ladies. You know, we are told in my community that until the soldier ants invade the heads, that's when you know the best dancer among the animals. And this is when the police should rise up to tell us that indeed they are the best dancers when it comes to issue of security.
Yes.
Now, if you say every time now who goes or who is killed is a prostitute.
Honestly.
Have you looked at the angle, if these persons are not using this aspect as, you know, a venue so as to distract the attention from them directly? Because they will not conclude that, yes, using these particular places as venues for this killing, the first thing most of us will conclude is that these girls are on that side of the divide. But I can assure the DP that I don't get anything else. Because I don't get money, so I don't know what I go put to tell him that not all of these girls that have been killed are in that profession. And that's where investigation comes in. Forensic one for that matter. Even though they have put up their own strategies, and with the ones both yourself and some other persons have put out on radio, I think they should piece this together and see how they can work on them. And on the issue of National Lifestock restructuring
transformation plan.
Transformation. What I mean transforming the livestock, they've not been doing well where they will want to transform them. It's unfortunate that like we are told, if you take out a dog from your house and you bring in a cat, you still have the four-legged animal in that house of yours. And so whether Ruga or livestock transformation, the issue is that the same issue with Ruga or the objection for Ruga is the same thing that we are objecting today. Because it's the same thing. Because if you tell me you are funding this person's 80% from which fund? Is it from the Sovereign Wealth Fund? The Sovereign Wealth Fund was gotten from where? And then I think, like you said, the state governors, I think they're in charge of lands. Those ones who won't give. It's left for them. I thought the governor of Borno State has donated some for our forest for projects like this. How come we still won't go other states? Oh, sorry, they still won't come other states. Not we, because we are no follow.
I no follow, my brother.
I think, like you said we should compel. I wonder why they compel them rather than talking like this. Because most times they have decided to turn deaf ears. They listen, just like man-made God. They get ears, but they don't hear. The thing is, you have to put a stop to issues like this from the outset. Because it is better to stop a quarrel than sometimes to separate fight.
Absolutely.
So for me, like I said before, I still believe in restructuring. We have to restructure this country. Restructuring this country does not mean we are slaves. For me, I know be slave. But see, but if we restructure, every time now Dokubo knows what he ought to get, and the one Garuba knows it so, even Okonkwo and Okorie knows it so. Depending on what you produce, you contribute to the national, just to take care of national security and foreign affairs.
That's
the rest of the development should be here, for goodness sake. We decide what we want. People don't want rail line. We decide on our own not to tell us that you want to run a rail line from wherever to come past here. What if we don't need rail line?
Well, listen, there is something I forgot. While you're on the line, let me bring it in. You can see what the president has done, where he has approved all these roads that are going to be built and railways joining here and there. You can see the amount of billions that have gone to do these roads of the ones that are in the north. It runs into how many hundreds of billions of naira. and then you see the one that you can see the roads that they've given to the south. I don't even the east-west road even is not even in this in this budget or in this plan, you know. So they are putting forward a budget, and yet there is what seems like a sideshow of development that is still going on, that is not going to the National Assembly, but is by fiat, if you like. And look at the roads that that are being built, and that's why sometimes when our people criticize certain aspects of the period that Jonathan was in power, you begin to get weak of the argument, if you like, or of the protection, because Jonathan didn't do these things by fiat, because it was not lawful, really and truly. It's not constitutional, it's not proper. But because he didn't do it, look at what somebody else who is doing it, even though it is wrong, he's still doing it. You know, so what we need to do as a people is package these positions together and begin to, this is our argument of injustice, on being marginalized and being oppressed. How can you, the North till today and yesterday have the best roads in Nigeria?
Of course.
And yet they are still building more. Railways are going from Katsina State to Niger, and pipelines are being built from Niger Delta to Lagos, so that one man alone can now refine all the crude, all the oil and that we will need in the Niger Delta, in Nigeria, and even outside of Nigeria, even to export. And these things, the crude oil is in the Niger Delta, and yet you're taking the jobs that these things will create, you're taking it to Lagos, and the tax of these things is going to be paid in Lagos. I don't understand what our politicians are doing. They can see this very clearly. Why are they leaving it for people like Q Briggs, NGO people, to talk and to take the risk, and yet even at that, they are not involved in the process? And what I mean by being involved in the process, they are not even in any way, shape or form part of this strategy of fighting for rights.
Because they are not interested.
But their rights is also abused. Okay, look at the gang up against the governor of Rivers State. What is wrong with the governor of Rivers State saying that Rivers State is a Christian state? If Zamfara can say that it is a Sharia state, and Kano has Isba police, what is wrong in that? How can anybody get up and say that because your culture of your religion says where you pray, that you can own it? You mean you can just come to Abonima, pray in Abonima, and then carry that land in Abonima? How?
In your place.
How?
The constitution says you should come to my house. I have my own freedom. That means if I allow you to enter my house, pray, because of rain they fall. After praying, that house becomes your prayer ground.
Yes.
If not so, I'm supposed to get my own church.
You understand?
What we're talking about, it is unfortunate, and I think it's a wake-up call to our leaders, because the truth is that they say the insect that is up the kola nut is inside the kola nut itself. Even
the garden egg self, and it don't enter my mouth sometimes.
It's unfortunate, but I think, like you said, let it be.
Okay. All right. I think that really and truly, this is no longer a wake-up call for even the governors. I think it is up to the people now. The people must recognize the need of mobilizing, because they understand what we are saying, mobilizing their voices, mobilizing to agree that they understand what is at stake, mobilizing to compel the governors, the state assembly representatives, the local government chairmen, the senators, And okay, look at the other day, I read on Facebook, Ben Bruce got up and said what I know and I have been saying for over 21 years, that the traditional rulers, the emirs in the north, that they have concession for oil allocation and benefits that come from oil. And this is a fact. If you look at the NNPC listing and all that, it will all be there. It is a fact. And yet, he was in the Senate for 4 years. He didn't say it. It's after he has come out of the Senate that he's now saying it. So why didn't he say it when he was in the Senate? You know, so when they say, oh, people were going into Senate so that we will change it, you're not going to Senate to change anything, because you cannot. Even if you want to, you cannot. The system is set up not to allow you. And so you must ask yourself, if you say you're a politician, I don't claim to be a politician. I'm a rights activist. And I read everything I can lay my hands on when it comes to the issue of rights and democracy. And my rights tell me that what I'm doing and what I'm saying, as long as it is the truth, I must say it. We must say, for the sake of tomorrow, that this is what we want in this country. And if we're not going to get it in this country, then we must find a way where we will get it. If we continue like this, our children's children will not know who they are in this Nigeria, because they will no longer know that there were even people that they descended from that was a part of Nigeria. Now, on when Monday or Sunday, I think, the news came out that 3 governors in the north have signed a memorandum of understanding with the Republic of Niger. Now, these people, these governors that signed this memorandum, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara, signed a memorandum of understanding with the governor of the Maradi region in Niger. I've mentioned it last time. How are governors of Nigeria in the north able to sign a memorandum of understanding? Are they signing it on behalf of the federal government, or they are signing it on behalf of their state? If they are signing it on behalf of their state, why is Governor Wike or what's his name, Governor of Akwa Ibom State and Governor of Delta State, or any other governor for that matter, Lagos State or whatever, why can't these governors also sign memorandum of understanding for agriculture, for oil exploration, for anything that the government chooses to sign a memorandum of understanding about, even with America on security, to secure our side of the Gulf of Guinea, to secure our side of the Atlantic Ocean? Why can we not sign this memorandum? What makes some part of Nigeria so special that they can do what the other part of Nigeria cannot do? And then we are governed, we're governed by fear. And then in one region, you only have one particular governor. In the case of the South right now, the only person that is seen as the bad boy is Governor Wike, out of everybody, because everybody else is trying to be politically correct. He's trying to be a friend of federal government. And so he himself as a person is overburdened. He himself as a governor is overburdened. But we should not allow him to be overburdened, because as far as I'm concerned, Rivers State stands out like a sore thumb in the Niger Delta, and therefore in Nigeria. And I am from Rivers State. Therefore, I consider myself standing out as a sore thumb, along with every indigenous person, Ogoni person, Ikwere person, anybody who is a Rivers person. Doesn't matter your ethnic nationality. We have to come together as a unified people. The danger we face from politicians and politics and the way that they are changing the laws and blatantly working against the law and blatantly disobeying the rule of law in Nigeria is affecting us, and it will continue to affect us. We have a right to speak. We're not against the federal unity, the unity of Nigeria. But if the unity of Nigeria is going to be at the risk of the survival of Niger Delta people, if it's going to be at the risk of survival of the Ikwere man, the Ogoni man, the Ekpeye man, the Egi man, the Isoko man, I think these people have to think that how will they survive? It must be about you first before it will be about the country that is called Nigeria, because whether we exist or whether Nigeria exists or not, we, the Ikwere man, the Ogoni man, the Ijo man, the Ekpeye man, the Isoko man, the Urobo man will exist because he was before Nigeria. And the Fulani people, the Yoruba people, the Igbo people will exist, whether we exist, whether Nigeria exists or not, because we were brought together to be in a place. We were already in this place. We were just carved into one place and given a name. I am primarily an Ijo person. I am secondly from Rivers State. I am third from Niger Delta. And it is all these things now that makes me a Nigerian, because I am in the map that is called Nigeria. So I do not see that if we discuss these things that it makes us unpatriotic. No, as a matter of fact, it makes me a very patriotic person, because I am prepared to discuss these things that will tear Nigeria apart. On that note, I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for listening. We will be on air again next week by the grace of God. And I wish you a great weekend and God's blessings. Stay safe, and our young ladies, stay safe. And the police, please, please, please do what the police is expected to do. And we are friends of the police. Thank you very much.